My name is Adam Parr, and I'm the host of the Parrsitivity Podcast. This podcast focuses on motivation, mindset, positivity, mental health, and many other areas. In this podcast, I've connected with people from all different walks of life. You can connect with me on social media in the link below. And if you like this podcast, please like, share, and comment and subscribe because it really helps the channel and the podcast to grow. Now, without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video.
Tuning in, trying to find out how to win. Go along and tell a friend. Marathon, you know the game. Keep on running, never end. Getting better, make amend. Adam got it, Adam got it, Adam got it, Adam got it. Parrsitivity, 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 Parrsitivity. Tune in.
Pauly, it's great to connect with you and have you on the podcast. How are you doing today?
What is going on, bro?
All good, man. But no, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I just thought I'd start off by kind of asking you how you got into coaching. So I see you do like coaching and mentoring and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was actually. It's on hold right now. I'm taking my movement in another direction, but yeah, we can get into it a little bit.
Yeah, like around coaching and like mindset and kind of what your transition is and that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Pauly Long, and I'm the founder of my movement called Mineset, spelled Mineset. And Mindset is essentially a movement about helping people live the lives they truly want to live without them being influenced by the judgments and the opinions of others, right? Because a lot of people live their lives based upon what they think their family thinks is best, their friends think is cool, society considers right versus wrong. And a lot, the majority of people aren't willing to get uncomfortable to actually do whatever it is that their inner conscious actually truly wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am a firm believer in the fact of like that. I think that's what makes a lot of the world sad, like not there's I think personally that there's more people in the world that are sad and depressed than there are happy, and it's a shame. We should be a happy planet. And I think a huge reason is because people aren't doing what they want to do. Because if you were doing what you want to do with your life on a daily basis, how could you not be happy, right? Your favorite thing in the world is to bake goods, right? Cookies, cakes, all that stuff. And you just get to bake cakes all day and you make $100,000 a year, you'll probably be really happy, right? And I think a lot of people get caught up too in the money. And you got shit, man, look at my country, look at America, look how corporate America is. You know what I mean? So many people in America are in corporate, right? Corporate jobs, corporate this, corporate that, trying to climb the corporate ladder. And essentially they're just sitting on a desk behind a computer in a cubicle, typing away a bunch of nonsense that means nothing to them, with some bullshit title. You got a 23-year-old kid who has no idea what he wants in life, and he's considered a executive account operations manager, fucking whatever. And they jazz it up to be this big thing, but he's making 55, maybe 60K a year salary, working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, Monday through Friday with the weekends off. And he's miserable, right? And there's so many people that do that kind of stuff. And so, I was stuck in the corporate world for a while. I worked for a gym chain over here called LA Fitness. And I worked for 4 years. I was with them, man. I was just stuck. I couldn't figure out a way to get out. I couldn't, motivate myself to do something different. I wasn't taking enough risk in my life. And the hours were crazy, man. We worked a split shift. So I would go in.
Oh, I've done those.
Yeah, it was like 9 to 1 and 4 to 9, but like I kind of did whatever I want. So I would show up. I was really good at it. I sold personal training. I was the personal training director, the manager. So I hired the trainers, hired the salespeople, trained all them, sold it myself.
Yeah.
So I was really good. So I just, they're the type of company with such high turnover that when they have someone who's actually skilled at it and can perform, and they don't have to babysit you all day, you have freedom, man. So I would show up late. I would get there 10:30, you know, maybe 9:30 at the earliest. I was always late. I would, you know, take my break early, work out, come back late, maybe 4:30, maybe 5. I would leave by, you know, 7 or 8 instead of stay till 9. Granted, there were days where I'd stay late and I'd get in early and I'd work my ass off, and but for the majority, like, I was just doing whatever. So I was stuck in this lifestyle because I had the freedom to do what I want. And in my, like, or I should say, in my mind, I thought I had the freedom because I could come into work whatever time I want, right? And take my break. But that's not freedom, because you're still coming into a job working for some big CEO who lives out in LA and Hollywood Hills. You know what I mean? Just raking in the money and not doing anything. So you don't have freedom. And that's how a lot of these corporate jobs go. And so when I finally got myself out of there, I started trying like tons and tons and tons of different businesses, different industries, just different everything, man. I started trying everything. I was just dipping my feet into every pool of water that I could find. And I was failing really quickly, which was good because I was always afraid to fail. And I think that was how my parents brought me up. Because, you know, like, that's just how the generation that my parents were raised, right? You can't fail. You can't fail. Don't fail. Failing's bad, right? Failing's fucking great. I love failing because failing quickly gets you to a win, to a success a lot faster. And so when I started trying all this stuff and started failing really quickly, I soon found what I did enjoy, and what I could do to provide myself with financial freedom so that I didn't have to work a job. And then boom, I made it happen. And essentially, like, my story last year was that I got out of LA Fitness in the end of March 2019. I joined a real estate team, like residential real estate sales agent kind of thing. Got my license like the second month in. I quit that after 3 months because I hated it. And then I started doing Instagram stuff. I started linking up with all these people and networking on Instagram. Met a couple guys out in Arizona. One of them offered to fly me out, come check out a business op. I paid him for a mentorship, paid another one for a mentorship, flew out there, met both of them, slept on this kid's couch for like 2 weeks, had no idea. Like, I was just moving so fast.
Yeah.
I'm 27 years old at the time. I'm sleeping on some 21-year-old's couch who's running an online ecom business. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just doing everything, man. Stayed out there for a couple weeks, flew back home. Within a week, I packed up my stuff. I said bye to my family. I drove across the country, all the way across America to get to Arizona. It took me 3 days to get there, nonstop. And I lived in an Airbnb. I paid this lady monthly to rent out a room in her house as an Airbnb guest. And I did that for 4 months, from mid-August last year to mid-December last year in 2019. And when I got there, I had like no money, I had no job, no income. And I was psyched. I was stoked about it. I had never been more happy to be broke in my life. And the reason being, and the reason for any of your listeners, the reason I'm telling you guys all this right now is to paint the picture of, like, I'm 27 years old. I've been working for a gym corporation as one of the head guys, the lead guys for years, right? You know, no college education, making anywhere from 60 to 80 grand a year. And you know, which at the time was great for me, because I never knew anything else. You know what I mean? And so for not having a college education, college degree, and being able to work at a gym and make, you know, 75K was like astounding in my mind, right? But I knew it wasn't right. And so to take the step back and set aside your pride and humble yourself and be willing to bump yourself down, that's one of the biggest challenges that I think most people face, because going into entrepreneurship, you are going to take a pay cut. You are going to work a lot of hours. You'll have freedom, but you gotta fucking grind and gotta humble yourself. Because when you leave your corporate job or your 9-to-5 or your career and start fresh, you're not making the same amount right away. It takes time. And so I think a lot of people get scared to do that because there's a standard set by society of like, you know, if you're a certain age, you should be making this much money, you should be having this job, you should be staying and building yourself up and trying to get a promotion and yada 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 yada, right? People look at changing jobs like it's such a bad thing, which blows me away, because there's so many jobs in the world. You know what I mean? And so when people look at changing jobs like a bad thing, it's like, no, dude, you're just moving on. You're leveling up. You're trying something different. Good for you. I have more respect for people who quit their jobs than I do for people who stay at their jobs, to be honest with you. I really, I don't, I think staying, I mean, personally, we could really get into this. I fucking hate jobs. I think jobs are a waste. Sorry for anyone who has a job that's listening, but that's just me. You know, not entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, right? But if you are someone, here's the catch. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone, right? Plus, if we didn't have people willing to work jobs, what the hell would we do, right? If we didn't have doctors, if we didn't have people to run supermarkets, if we didn't have people to coordinate, you know, drug pharmacies and stuff like that, right? Simplistic things that we need, then what would our world be? So jobs are important, but if you are someone who can be an entrepreneur, who has that mindset, then you better go after it. Like, if you even have a speck of a thought of like, I don't want to do this, don't do it. And humble yourself. Take the pay cut. To get out of what you're doing and try to start figuring out what you can do to make it your own. And so that's what I did. And I got to Arizona. I had like $3,000 to my name total. I had no job, no income. I had no plan. I just was like, screw it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make something work, man. Because if I don't, that's it. That's all I got. So I worked my ass off and I started networking and I started building my personal brand on Instagram and started, you know, just boosting my image and meeting tons of people, and went to some networking events and traveled a little bit. And then, yeah, the last thing I'll say, and this is, you know, this is all leading up to how I started the movement called Mineset, was since I was trying all these different businesses, like literally everything, all these different network marketing, Forex trading, e-com, Shopify, Amazon, real estate, wholesale, Airbnb, like so many different things all at once, credit, like all this different stuff. And I finally, like, in the back of my mind, I always loved like Gary V, Tony Robbins. Those are my guys, man. You know, motivation stuff. I love motivation. I was a personal trainer guy, so I would naturally love to motivate people, you know. But personal training wasn't the type of motivation that my heart was after. And so I started posting motivational videos back in October last year. And some girl messaged me one day and said, "Hey, I run a team of girls for this company called Monet, which is like a hair product skincare company, and it's like a network marketing company." And she's like, "I would love to have you on like a Facebook Live or like a Zoom call or something like that, to come speak to my team, you know, hype them up, motivate them, give them some sales knowledge, whatever you want to do." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was expecting it to be like 10, 20 people. I got on and it was like 60, 70 girls on one call. And it was awesome, man. I got fired up. I did my thing, had a ton of them reach out to me afterwards and message me and saying like, "Hey, thank you so much. That was awesome. Like, I'm so fired up right now, yada, yada, yada." And it really hit me hard, man, right in the soul. And I realized like, this is my calling, man. I love motivating people. Sometimes more than I motivate myself, to be honest. That's one of my downfalls. Like sometimes I'm so empathetic that I love helping other people more than myself. And we'll get into that. But I went home that night and kind of did some meditation and got up the next morning and I started plotting out the ideas for Mineset, my movement. And that's when I created like this little, I filmed myself. I had a big notepad easel, and I wrote down some topics and talked about them on camera and made it like a little course, built a community around it, and slowly started scaling that. And then it all kind of got put on hold a few months ago, and now I'm here. Yeah. So that's how it started, man. That's been my journey up until this point. There's obviously some details that I haven't said yet, but maybe we can get into those. But yeah, that's essentially how it started, man. Because I just saw myself like, I just woke up one day and was like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I not doing something that I want to do? Because in reality, we are going to die, right? Our heart's going to stop. And if you spent your whole life doing what someone else thought you should do, what the fuck is the point? Honestly, what's the point?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think like, like your journey and what you just said, what you've been talking about is, like really, quite motivating because like as well, like you're choosing to step out of your comfort zone into the unknown from, out of the ordinary to pursue something that, that you want to do, and I think the majority of the people, are like stuck and trapped in that mindset
Oh yeah.
of, secure job security, the 9 to 5, that routine, and they think they've got dental because they're a certain title in a certain company, and like I think if someone's happy doing that, then that's fine. But I mean, for the majority, there are, like you said, a lot of people are unhappy in these positions, even though they're getting paid, say 60 to 80 grand or 40 or 50.
Right.
And I think like it's just a big giant hamster wheel. And I think like certain jobs, like there need to be people in supermarkets and like dentists and doctors and people who serve, the community and society. They're
Mm-hmm.
needed, those positions. But I think, like you said, you've got to do what you love and what resonates with you. And I applaud you for doing, what you're doing, and that that worked out for you. And you just took that leap, and like you said, put in that work to network and to engage with people, to travel. And you just don't know those kind of opportunities that are going to open up for you. And the thing is, if you don't take that message, that leap of faith, then those things aren't going to happen. And I like you said, surround yourself with good kind of role models like Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and people
Mm-hmm.
like that, who kind of you can kind of draw from. And I think like connecting with the right kind of people and just like you said, doing it and taking action, because you don't want to have that regret of not doing something or wishing do you know what I mean, you would have taken that leap into a different job role or something. And
You gotta flood your brain, man. I always say flood your brain with positivity. That's like one of my quotes that I always refer back to, but it's true. Like, and not just positivity, but like just everything that you want in life and you want to be, and whatever is going to encourage you to do so, you gotta flood your brain with it. So like when I first started doing this stuff, like over a year ago, um my Instagram was flooded with bullshit, right? With celebrities and meme pages and sports stuff and food
yeah.
and bodybuilding and stuff that like was like all hobbies and stuff like that, or just like what like I said, like meme pages and random stuff,
Yeah.
and none of that impacted me in any way, right? It just flooded my timeline with useless shit that didn't make me any more positive, any more motivated. It didn't teach me anything. It didn't boost my perspective. And so I did like an Instagram cleanse, and I unfollowed like every single account that was any type of celebrity, any type of meme page, sports, gym stuff, food stuff, anything, right? Well, like all
Just
I did was
nonsense.
follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All I did was follow like entrepreneurs and motivation stuff, and obviously, I stayed following like my friends and everything. But even some of the people that I knew, I had to unfollow or mute just because it's like some of it's just a distraction. And I started just flooding my brain, man, with so much positivity, so much motivation. And when you see that kind of stuff on a daily basis versus other garbage that I mean, dude, the internet is just so full of fucking shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah. It's not
But,
okay. It's true.
dude, it is, man. It's bad. It's bad. It's so there's so much negativity. There's so much insecurities or things that create insecurities. All the porn, sex, OnlyFans stuff. I mean, it's just, dude, the list goes on, man. There's just so much stuff that just doesn't put your mind in the right in the right frame of mind, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it fucks with a lot of people. So when you not just Instagram, I'm just saying Instagram because that's what we're talking about, but
It's
you know,
one pillar of it.
dude, books are huge, man. I was
Mm,
never a reader. I hated reading, man. Or I did when I was a kid. I used to actually like reading when I was but like a kid, not even.
mm.
I think once I hit like 9 or 10, I was like, fuck reading, man. I just want to play video games, you know?
Yeah.
I hated reading, man, for like so much of my life. And then just in the past, probably like 2 years, yeah, about 2 years ago is when I started picking up reading again. And I've read
Mm,
a ton of books since then.
mm,
And dude, books have been one of the biggest impacts on my life for sure. The 10x rule was like the first one that the first whatever you want to call it, motivational personal development book I ever read was a 10x rule. I actually listened to the audiobook by Grant
mm.
Cardone, 10x rule.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that we're gonna have two different
Yeah,
recordings now.
yeah. I can merge it all together. It's fine. Sorry, yeah, it broke up then. But you're saying the 10x rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 10x rule was like the first personal development book I ever read, and that was the game changer for me. That was the one that flipped the script in my brain and told me this was back in like 2017, I think. It was like towards the end of the year, so almost 3 years ago. And I listened to that and I loved it and was like, dude, something about life is not right now. And then I listened to his other one after that called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And that, once again, it just boosted my perspective, man. Perspective is everything. The way you see life is everything, you know. And a lot of people don't have a wide perspective. It's very broad, it's very narrow, and you know, you got to really understand that there is, not to be cliche, but there is so much more to life
Mm, mm,
than we are brought up to understand and believe.
mm,
um and you know, a lot of people in the world don't understand abundance. You know, a lot of people have a scarcity mindset,
mm,
and you think that there's only so much money that can be made. You gotta you know, watch your spend. You can't invest, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, there's no way I can ever travel there, there's no way I can ever do that type of work for a living, there's no way I can do this, whatever, right? And when you hold yourself to that type of expectation,
mm,
and you don't even give yourself a chance to experience those new things or go those different places or travel or you know, open your mind up to allow new thoughts in and new ways of thinking in, dude, perspective is everything. So if you limit
mm.
your perspective, you limit your life, right? And then you don't do anything, and you just sit and do the same old thing, and like I said before, you fucking die. And then what? You spent your whole life not believing in anything new. I mean, dude, I'm super open-minded. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
I will try a ton of stuff. You know what I mean? And
mm,
I was never brought up like that, so it's something, once again, that, you know, you gotta take control. You gotta take
mm,
control of every single aspect of your life. And I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong, man.
mm,
I've actually been going through some personal stuff the last few months. I'm actually getting ready to do a live call tonight, with whoever wants to
mm.
jump on and
Nice.
talk about what's been going on with me. And we all go through ups and downs, man. But you know,
Mm,
ultimately, like, as long as you don't totally quit and be defeated, like I would, like, no matter how much shit I go through, personal stuff, right? Whatever I'm going through, any type of depression or mishaps or anxiety or anything like that I might experience, I will never quit and, like, you know, just go back to a job and go back to a normal life. Fuck no, absolutely not. You know what I mean?
mm,
And as long as
mm,
you don't really quit, man, it's okay to go through ups and downs. It happens to all of us, but you just
mm.
got to keep pressing. You just got to keep going. I mean, it's, you know, we've all heard that, but it's like, I don't think enough people um, take that and actually, like, believe it. I think a lot of people quit. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people who try to do stuff and they just retreat. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Mm,
oh, it's not working out. I'm going to retreat. I'm going to go back to my job. I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm going to stay comfortable. This is safe and sound and cozy, and I don't have to experience any, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, fuck, man, get uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think it's like really powerful what you said. And I agree. And I think like, you know, through failing and taking that leap and, you know, for things not working out, I find, and what I've learned, you know, over time is that you kind of gain this kind of edge, this kind of resilience to it. Like when things don't work out, you gain this kind of strength where you bounce back quicker. And I think like you just got to keep on going, whatever that is. And, you know, don't quit and just stay on that kind of course that you're kind of moving along to, you know, whatever it is you want to do. Because like us, like you said, like a lot of people are just caught in that loop of, you know, staying safe and, you know, if something doesn't work out for them, and then they go for another job, and then, you know, they might get stuck. And I think, like you said, you know, a lot of people have kind of scripts kind of written for them by their, you know, their friends or family or society, that they just think, oh, this is it. Oh, my mum says I need to do this. So they spend 10 years doing something. And then, you know, then they realize, oh, I don't actually want to do this. I don't know what I want to do. And I
Scary.
think,
It's
yeah,
scary, man. People waste their life.
yeah. And I think like, you know, like in my background, like in the past, I tried going to university, you know, like college, like you call it college in America. And I had to retake my maths, went to university to do criminology, which is
Yeah.
psychology of criminals. And
Mhm.
I got all the way to university and I was like, oh, you know, this is it now. And then I was like, I don't want to do it. And I changed my mind. But
Boom. That right
yeah,
there, those words, I changed my mind. Those are four of the strongest fucking words you could ever say that are so underestimated. And people criticize others, man, for saying those four words. I changed my mind. Dude, changing your mind is such a strength. It's such an undervalued strength that you know, I think so many like I said, will get criticized for it. Like, oh, you had your heart set on criminology and you backed out. Oh, you're failing. You're a dropout. Yada yada yada. It's like, no, I just don't want to fucking do it anymore. So don't come at me. Like that's it. It's my life. What the fuck do you care? You know what I mean? And dude, like so much respect for you for getting out of that, because I personally know, once again, I know so many people from my hometown, from Instagram, people I've talked to that are like, yeah, well, I'm not really sure, you know, what to do. So I just figured out like get my degree. It's like, dude, what? You're telling me that because you don't know what you want, you're going to spend 4 fucking years learning business management for like for fucking what? So that just in case you don't feel like pursuing your dreams, you can make $70K a year working for someone else, doing fucking God knows what. I mean, come on, man. Like unreal. When you change your mind, that's where it's at. That's cool. Like respect for anyone who changes their mind. I've changed my mind so many times. And I was embarrassed to in the past because people look at you funny when you do it. Oh, there's Pauly. He's changing his mind. He's doing something else. He's backing out. You know, what a bitch. What you know what I mean? It's like, no, dude. Like, no. You're way more scared of life if you don't change your mind, or if your mind changes, but you don't act on it. Right? That's a whimpering defeat. And I have zero respect for that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what are you doing then? So your mind changed, but you're just gonna keep like at that point, you're a robot, straight up. If your mind changes and you don't act on it, you're a robot because you're controlled by someone else, not yourself. You are no longer in control of yourself. So when your mind changes, change with it. Unless you want to be a robot and be controlled by someone else, straight up.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you, and I appreciate, you know, what you said. And I think as well, like, you know, you don't want to be someone else's puppet, do you? Like as well, like people who are like stuck in that place. And I think it's that kind of self-awareness, isn't it, as well? Like being aware and tuned into your emotions. And, you know, like if something doesn't resonate with you, then, you know what I mean, if it's not drawing you happiness, you don't like it, then kind of act on that. And I think a lot of people are kind of, they're not tuned into themselves enough to kind of realize what's going on internally, or they're kind of ignoring it and they're just playing it off. And I've tried a lot of different things like yourself, and if it doesn't work out for me, or something doesn't feel right, then I will, change my mind. But I never used to do that, and I used to be scared and worried what people are going to think. And I think you've got to step out of that kind of mindset, because that will just keep you in that place.
You have to.
And
You have to. I'm not like, once again, for anyone listening to this, anything I say, I'm not saying out of pride. I'm saying out of experience. Like, I've been there. I'm only able to say everything that I say because of my own experience. That's how I do me. That's how I do life. That's how I preach. I get all my motivation stuff, all my mindset stuff. It comes from me, man. It comes from me fucking up my own life, from me procrastinating my own happiness, from me going after my own dreams. You know what I mean? Or not going after my own dreams. Like, I've been through all this stuff. I've done all this stuff. So I'm not like guilting anyone. I'm just telling you, look, like, this is reality. If you don't step it up and take action and do something about it, you're gonna sit and work in a gym for 4 years that you don't want to work at,
Yeah. I think, I agree. And I think, like, you've got to just step out, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I think I said to myself the other day, I was like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, what have you got to lose? You've probably got far more to lose if you don't do it. And I put off doing a podcast for 2 years. I had this idea of this podcast, which I'm doing now, for 2 years. And I was worried about what people are going to think. I was worried about, is it going to work out? And, like,
do it.
Yeah. And then after
2 years, imagine how many episodes you could have had the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, that's it. That's it. And, like, as well with networking with people, I used to send people a message and I'd type it out in the box, and I wouldn't send it because I'd be worried about, what if they don't reply? I'm going to feel rejected. And then, like I said, I connected with you, and I'll just think now, just do it. If they don't reply, they don't reply. And it's, like you said, it's that the more you do, like someone said to me, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And, the more you do something, the easier it gets. And I think, like, by doing what you've done, it's going to, it's inspiring other people to then take that leap and have that initiative to then have a think about what they're doing and to make that change.
1000%, man. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of change. Change is the best. It's inevitable. You know what I mean? And if you resist change, you're just resisting your own success, your own happiness, your own opportunities. Life hands you so many opportunities, man. That's what I'm like. I always had this thought process in the past of, like, I'm never gonna amount to anything. Like, I might as well just take what I can get, because I'm not some famous person. I'm not meant to be rich. Like, I just had this, like, limited belief, and it was just kind of how like I said, it was the way that I was brought up, and it was the way that my parents were, and not that my parents were like, you can't be anything, right? Like, no, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But just my parents have a limited belief system. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to break out of that. Like, it took me so long to make a move, just because, like, exactly what you said. I was afraid of what other people would think, man. And I didn't want to take that step back. I didn't want to lose my income. I didn't want to feel like I was starting over. But in reality, it was like, dude, if I don't do this, then what? Like, I was so depressed at one point at the end of my LA Fitness path. I got to a point where I was so depressed, and I just realized, man, it was like, dude, I can't live life like this anymore. I can't do it. I would literally rather be broke and homeless at this point than step inside this gym another day. Like that's how long I overstayed my visit with that job. And you're right. Now I asked myself the same thing, man. I said, what is the worst that could happen? And the answer my mind gave me was, if I'm not dead, then okay. And that's what it boils down to. If you can, if you need to like quit your job or move on or get out of your relationship or to just take some sort of next step forward in life, and it doesn't fucking kill you, you better do it, because that's all you got. I mean, if you're alive at the end of the day, that's a blessing. And like, what else do you honestly have to lose? You know, I mean, it's one thing, like I get, like a 20-year-old kid or 22-year-old kid, wants to explore entrepreneurship, whatever. Like, dude, yeah, take a chance, man. Get out, be broke, go live in a fucking apartment or at a room for $300 a month, live in a shithole, study personal development, start learning different skills, whatever. Now, if you're, 37 and you have a wife or a husband, couple kids, I mean, yeah, it's a different story. Don't get me wrong. But I've heard so many people say like, oh, I don't have the time. There's just no way I can do it. I'm kind of screwed at this point. Like I have my family I gotta take care of, so I can't do it. Like, dude, that's bullshit. There is always a way to do something new. There's always a way. Always. I don't think enough people, like one of the things that changed my life is credit. Credit is huge, man. Credit is like the bee's knees. Like people don't utilize credit. They don't know how. And the thing about credit is like, it provides you every opportunity you need. All you have to do what you want, obviously, like most people don't do what they want, right? Because they're working at a job. So the first step is you got to get out of the job. That's step number one. Get it. If you're doing something, and shit, I shouldn't say just a job. I'm so focused. I'm such in the entrepreneur mindset. Anything you don't want, okay? A job. If you're in a bad relationship, if your family's bringing you down, like whatever, dude, and you just gotta like, pack up and jump ship, okay? And you don't know where to go next, and you're not sure what to do, and you gotta move to a different state or just be on your own or whatever, okay? Look at your credit, get out of your situation first, save up some money. If you need credit repair, get credit repair. Then you can get your score up, and then you can apply for cards that give you 0% interest for 12 to 15 months, which means you only have to pay minimum payments on whatever the balance is for the entire year, and you don't collect any interest. And what this does is it gives you an amount of money that you get approved for. You make tiny little payments on it every month. You collect 0 interest for a whole year or more. And then you can take that money, invest it in something to build yourself a little bit of income so that you can start your new life. And that's it. And that's all it takes. You don't have to make $1 million your first year. You don't have to make $100,000 your first year. You don't even fucking have to make 20, 30 grand your first year. All you have to do is break even at the end of the day. At the end of the day, man, if you want to change your life and do something, obviously don't settle for just breaking even, but understand that if your living costs you $2,000 a month, whatever, okay, that's $24,000 a year. If you can fucking get some sort of credit line with 0% interest that allows you to spend that money, invest it in something that will pay you back in a year span, which if you can't make $10,000 back in a year, what the hell are you doing, right? Like, come on, that's plenty of time. Then all you got to do is break even. And that's a win. At the end of the day, if you don't owe anyone money and you can afford a simple place to live, food to eat, water and
Mm.
shelter, and you have your own life, and you don't have to clock in or clock out anywhere, and you don't have to listen to anyone and listen to your family and listen to a significant other, you know, give you negativity and talk down. Like, dude, you're free, man. You won. That's it. Obviously strive for more. Don't settle to stay in that broke situation, but like go be broke and live your life and do what you want to do and consistently work at getting better and better and better and building and building and building. But it all starts with, like, if you think you don't have the opportunity to get out of any situation you're in, you're full of shit. That's false. It's false. Get out first, get your credit fixed, get some 0% funding, and invest in yourself, man. Invest in yourself, personal development, books, courses, seminars, all that kind of stuff. And then learn about business, and then create some form of income for yourself. Start building your own thing. Utilize that 0% interest, and don't worry about making it back right away. Just you know what I mean? There's so many ways to do it, man. There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, like, you know, like you decide, don't you, like day one, what it is that, you know, you want to be and do. And I think, like, it's up to you, because you're in your own kind of like driver's seat of, you know, where you want to put your destination to be. And I think, like, you know, like you said, it's a kind of a no-brainer when you think of it like that. If you've got like no interest, you can do something and get that back, invest it. And I think people need to be educated on that more. And I think people need to kind of have that support in that, because I think a lot of time people are, oh, you know, you need to get a job, you need to get X, Y, Z. Whereas I think people need to dive into that pool, you know, like, don't just dip your toe into it, kind of go all in and take that leap. And I think, you know, a lot of the content out there is free as well. Like, you know, a lot of this motivational content and books. I mean, if you can't buy a book, you can watch content online. You know, Gary V.
Much free stuff. There's so much free education. YouTube is abundant with free education.
Do you have any favorite books at all or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Grant Cardone's were huge. That was a game changer for me. If you need to change your beliefs on like money, if you have like scarcity mindset with money, Rich Dad Poor Dad is phenomenal. That's a classic. My personal favorite is You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. She has a whole series of You Are a Badass books. So the first one is You Are a Badass. The second one is You Are a Badass at Making Money. The third one is I think it's called Badass or Everyday Badass Habits or something, or Badass Everyday Habits. And then she has a new one coming out too. I have it pre-ordered. I forget what it's called. Yeah, like those are some of the best ones about like getting out of that scarcity mindset, thinking more abundantly. And then what other ones are really good? Oh, one of my favorite. I love this book, man, and I have the audiobook of it. I have some audiobooks, some books, some like I like audiobooks when they're really like when it's the actual author like reading it. So like Grant Cardone's, you know, he talks like this and he's a little you know, so it's like it's amusing to listen to him. But I bought I have the book of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and then I bought the audiobook, and it's the most boring thing in the world because he talks like this. And you're listening to this the whole time, and it's like you're like falling asleep behind the wheel. You know what I mean? So like you gotta pick and choose. But one of my favorite ones is by Russ. You ever heard, you know, the rapper Russ?
Yeah.
Musician Russ, yeah. Music artist. He has a book that he wrote called "It's All in Your Head," and I have the audio of that, and that one is highly recommendable, man. Really, really good book about just channeling your inner potential, your inner energy, and just having the confidence to do whatever it is that you want to do. That's one of my favorites for sure. But yeah, the You Are a Badass books, all of them phenomenal. It's All in Your Head by Russ. Grant Cardone's 10X Rule and Be Obsessed or Be Average are ways to really motivate yourself to do more with your business, with your goals, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I could sit here and the one that I'm reading right now is called The Power of Now. And
Eckhart Tolle. Yeah.
Boom, dude. Honestly, I don't know what took me so long to get this book, but it is literally changing my life every single time I read it. It's unbelievable. It's I have to read every page 2 to 3 times, literally, before I go to the next page. I read every page twice, maybe 3 times, because every single page is just like it just blows your mind. You know, and I've been doing manifestations and daily affirmations and meditation and all that kind of stuff, man, for all year. It started back in January, and still, I mean, I just read this book and it's just on such another level. Definitely wouldn't start with that one for sure. That one's like a little bit down the road once you get some more personal development if you're like at a beginner level. But down the road, you gotta read The Power Now, man. That one's phenomenal. You've read it?
I have it. I haven't read it yet. My brother's read it, and he's on the next one after that.
Yeah.
He did another one after that. I can't remember what it's called. But
By
I
Eckhart Tolle?
definitely. Sorry.
By Eckhart Tolle again?
Yeah. He did that. Then he did another one, like to follow up that book.
Okay.
My brother's reading that one, but I definitely have it in my bag, and I'm definitely going to read it at some stage.
It's unreal. It's unreal. You read. I'm telling you, read every page twice. Take your time with it. Don't rush. This is not a book that you want to rush through. It's like every single page you read, it just, if you allow it to, it'll hit you hard, and it's really complex. It's very intellectual. It's very deep, really, really deep. You really gotta like read the page and like think about it for a second. He even puts little he has a symbol that he uses that he puts after like every couple paragraphs, and when he instructs you in the beginning, when you see that symbol, he wants you to take a second and like let what he just said like really sink in. So it's yeah, man, that's a big one. But yeah, those are probably like my top recommendations: Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, 10x Rule, Be Obsessed or Be Average, Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass books, It's All in Your Head by Russ, and The Power Now. I mean, yeah, it's good to hear all day, but those are, for anyone listening, those are all phenomenal books. Very life-changing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I think like I'm definitely gonna have to read that Power of Now, because I've got that many books. I'm the kind of guy who I'm like, I'll be reading a book and I see another book on Amazon, I'll order that, and then I end up with like 30 books.
Gotta finish one at a time.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, like do you have like role models? Would you say like professionally, personally, like kind of role models?
Dude, my two heroes, man, are Gary Vee and Tony Robbins. Those are my guys. Those are who I strive to be like. They are who I get a ton of my inspiration from. Really, really, really have changed my entire perspective on life.
Yeah.
Honestly, huge.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great. But Pauly, like it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate your time and for coming on the podcast, and
of course,
for sharing like your story and your journey, and positivity, motivation, and everything that you're doing. And I applaud you for what you're doing and what you've said, and I wish you all the best and everything that you're doing.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, likewise. Right back at you. And
cheers, man.
Yeah, thank you. And just remember, you and anyone who's on this listening, dude, life isn't hard. Life is not hard, but it's not easy either. Like it's not. It doesn't have to be hard, but you will come across things that do challenge you, and you will experience your ups and downs, man. Everyone hits them. Don't feel like you have to, there's a lot on social media, man. Social media is rough. It makes us compare ourselves to other people. It makes us doubt ourselves sometimes. And like, dude, it's okay. Like, it happens to the best of us, but just remember, man, stay in your lane and just always, always, always do what you know is true to your heart. Don't worry about the money. Like, don't settle for less, right? Don't sit there and settle and like not strive to be better, but stay in the now. Remember the power of now, man, because in reality, the past is already gone and the future hasn't happened yet. So all we have is what's right in front of us at this very moment. So stay in the now and just remember, whatever you're doing at this very moment, if you're not dead, if you're not in trouble in any sense, you're fine. You're all good. Just keep grinding.
Mm. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I think they're really, important key points, as like you said, to be in the now, because the past is gone and the future hasn't happened, and this is the moment. I think when you're in the moment, you have that clarity and that space of that time to think and to really kind of connect with things. So if you're, we've all been guilty of it. If you're thinking too far ahead, you're not kind of conscientious and thinking about what's happening now, and like anxiety and stress, it's not good for your health. So to stay more present and be in the now, then
Yeah, man.
it's better for your mental and physical health as well, I think. And but where can people find you on social media, like Instagram and
Yeah, man. Connect. Just my name at Pauly Long, PAULYLONG. That's my handle on everything. Facebook, Instagram. I think Twitter, I'm Pauly_Long, but I don't even use Twitter, so whatever.
yeah.
TikTok, all that stuff, man. LinkedIn. Yeah, just search me. And Instagram is my main platform. That's pretty much all I use for now. At least I'll definitely expand in the future, but that's all I use for now. But anyone who wants to reach out and connect, man, just shoot me a DM, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
No, awesome, man. And I'll definitely share your content, and if you ever need me to promote anything or share anything on my podcast and my channel, I'm happy to do that as well.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you much.
No, you're welcome. But no, have a great day where you are, and I wish you all the best in what you're doing. Stay in touch.
Likewise. Talk to you soon.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, take it easy, man.